folks, another day, another dollar. Today is Wednesday, and these are the top 5 things to know today in financial markets. Kicking things off with number 1, former Vice President Joe Biden, whose campaign was floundering just a week ago, had a big night in the Super Tuesday Democratic primaries. Biden won 9 of the 14 states where primaries were held. He had a strong showing in the South. He also won Massachusetts, a state where he wasn't expected to do as well. Essentially, yesterday's performance makes him the front runner to become the Democratic candidate for the presidential election in November. Bernie Sanders won 4 states, including California. Elizabeth Warren and Mike Bloomberg are under pressure to drop out after their poor showings yesterday. So be on the lookout for any headlines we get on that front during the session. On to number 2. Coronavirus headlines will also stay in focus. The number of confirmed cases around the world surged to 93,000, with the total death toll mounting to the 3,200 mark. So overall, we see the number of cases really pop up more in places like South Korea, Italy, and Iran, and less so in China, which was the epicenter of the outbreak. We'll also see a number of cases rise in European countries like Germany and Spain, as well as any updates we get throughout the day on the number of confirmed cases in the U.S. As well. As long as the virus continues to spread around the world and governments around the globe are forced to take drastic measures to contain the outbreak, we'll likely continue to see these headlines come across the wires, and they will likely continue to weigh on economic sentiment. On to number 3. Markets on Wall Street are pointing to strong gains at the open. Futures on the Dow are pointing to 700 points, a jump when markets open this morning. Overall, after tumbling on Tuesday after the Fed's surprise rate cut, markets seem to have found their footing this morning. Some are calling it the Biden bump. We see that overall markets are much more comfortable with the possibility of Joe Biden becoming the Democratic candidate than Bernie Sanders. Obviously, Biden is viewed as a much more moderate candidate, less likely to raise taxes, for example, and impose further financial regulations, something which Bernie Sanders has pledged to do. So overall, markets are enjoying this Biden bump. On to number 4. Bond markets, however, are not buying the exuberance. We saw the yield on the 10-year bond drop to a low of 0.93% in overnight trade. It's back up to nearing the 1% mark right now. But overall, we see that the bond market is expecting more rate cuts from the Federal Reserve, more stimulus from central banks around the world. We see the Canadian Central Bank hold its policy meeting today with expectations for them to cut as well. So overall, bond markets remain jittery, while the stock market is showing some exuberance this morning. So we'll see which market is right and which market is wrong. And finally, number 5, we also have some economic data to react to this morning. At 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time, we get the February ADP private sector payrolls report. We're expecting jobs growth of about 170,000 according to Investing.com's economic calendar. That's down from 291,000 seen in January. After the bell at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, the ISM releases its services sector PMI. So we'll get an overall snapshot on the health of the economy. We'll see if there are any impact from the virus on economic activity in February. But that's it for me for today. May the trading guys be with you. Have a good day, everybody.